There's been a wild moment about a month ago with Charlie Kirk. It's been the story on social media. Can you share a personal story of Charlie Kirk that you have?
Yeah. So which one do I share with you? Well, here's what I will tell you. He's 23 years old. I tell Mario, I say, Mario, I want to go interview this guy named Charlie Kirk. He says, what does he do? He runs this thing called Turning Point USA. He said, really? He seems young. I said, you got to meet this guy. He's putting an event together in Arlington. He's got like 1,000 people there. So I go to the event. Charlie agrees. We're interviewing him, right? And I have shorter hair at the time. This is when I wouldn't, allow my hair to, go long. But I'm sitting with a T-shirt. I'm an entrepreneur. He's sitting right across from me. When you look at this, he looks like a young 23-year-old.
23.
And we're having a conversation. We're going back and forth. And I'm telling him, I said, look, this is great what you're doing, but I think this message needs to go to people like me, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, African American. He said, well, we got 46, Hispanics here and, 22 African Americans. So less than 10% of people here are. So you know what? That's something we're going to work on. I just saw when he answered it that way. It's something we're going to work on. I'm like, all right, cool. We walk away. Mark's like, what do you think about him? I said, this guy's going to be the president one day. He says, you think so? I said, this guy's going to be the president of the United States. He's very, very special. Now watch this. Yeah. 2 years ago, him and I talk. He comes every time he would come to Florida. He'd call me, Pat, can I come on a podcast? Of course. Anytime Charlie would come, we do a podcast together. It's always a great conversation with that guy. Yeah. He's a very unique cat. Anyways, then a bunch of my guys invite him to their event. We have a national conference. I invite him to my annual convention at MGM Grand Arena. So he comes. He says, would you mind if we have lunch together? I said, no problem. He comes to the mansions. Me, him, and Tom Ellsworth have lunch together. And I've never shared this before. And we have lunch together. And the conversation was about when President Trump becomes president and is done with, and his contract expires in December with whoever company he was with. People know what company that is. He wants to come to Valuetainment for us to run together, for him to bring his show over here to us. Oh. And that was a conversation we had. I'll tell you exactly what the date is. July of 2023 is when we had that conversation, because that's my July or August of 2023. Charlie is not going to be replaced. Everybody's going to try to be like Charlie. We're going to have different kind of guys that are going to come up. But he was one of a kind. He knew how to debate. He actually liked people. He actually loved people. He was a super competitive guy. His quarterback coach was the same quarterback coach as Pat Mahomes' quarterback coach in high school.
Oh, wow.
So this guy was an athlete. Later on, people realized this guy used to play basketball. His highlights were going viral on TikTok of him hitting threes.
Oh, wow.
Family guy. He went to Hillsdale College's free online courses. Larry Arnn, the guy that runs Hillsdale College, said he went through the course 31 times. No one's ever gone through the course 31 times. It's 270 hours. He went through it 31 times, or some major number that he talked. I think it said 31 times, but I don't know which one he went through. You can't find somebody like that often. The guy was obsessed. He wanted to debate. He was extremely interested in politics and God and faith and philosophy and culture. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, you're not going to get someone like that.
I noticed when describing him, you didn't say, man, he was sharp. Man, he was smart. Man, you didn't say that. You said he was very unique, very special. It's because he embodied a lot of different traits.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my oldest son, is a very tough guy. He does Muay Thai. If you shake his hands are the same size as my hands. I'm not kidding with you. He has my size hands. His feet, size 10 and a half at 13 years old. But he's tough. He's got a very gentle side, but he's got a vicious side. Like
Grit.
And he loves politics. He loves debating. He loves fighting. He loves all of that. But if he's in the room, you'll say, what a nice guy. Just a very easygoing guy. He doesn't cry. He's not a crier. I'm at the conference with Tony Robbins, at the Vault conference. We got almost 8,000 people at the event that we've sold tickets to. And Tony's on stage. Boom. Charlie Kirk got shot. What are you talking about? Oh. Tony's speaking on stage for 3 hours. He doesn't know what's going on yet. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What's going on here? So Tony's done. I go on stage. The news is he's going to probably make it because they saved him. I'm on stage. Tony, thank you. Boom, boom. We make the announcement. Tony's officially the largest shareholder of, a strategic partner that we brought on board. Boom. He goes off stage. I'm about to pray for Charlie Kirk. Vinny comes out, he goes like this. I said, what do you mean? He says like this. And then Kelly comes and she goes, I said, are you saying what I think you're saying? Yes. Then I go, boom, boom. And I got to pray. I leave that night. I'm in Orlando. My son calls me and says, you have to come home tonight. I said, buddy, I'm in the middle of a conference. I can't come home. He says, I need to talk to you. I come home Friday night. I'm walking with him. We're walking the dogs. I've never seen him break down that way before, ever. Tough kid. And he says, this is a guy, I wasn't ready to lose a guy like this because I really looked up to the way this guy was living, right? Charlie Kirk. And look, we haven't experienced assassination attempts of somebody we admired, where it's like, as kids, you're going through right now at 40. I'm going through it at 46 when it happened. We don't know MLK assassination. We don't know John F. K. You know, if I was a kid coming up, I remember when Magic Johnson, he said he has AIDS, or Tupac when he died and he got shot. Like, that's the closest thing I can. When that happened to Tupac, the entire school, we were devastated when it took place on what happened to him to Vegas. So when he said that, I looked at him, I'm like, wow, kid. I said, I bet millions of other people, probably kids your age, feel this way as well because that was your example. I don't know what that feels like. But, you know, this guy had to get killed for the world to realize how much influence he had. It's so funny because Andrew, who's his partner, like kind of like how you guys are the partners on the podcast, Andrew, his partner on the podcast, said, we used to always talk about it and saying, how big do you think our reach is? How much influence do you think we have? How much influence do you think I got, Charlie? And he says, we used to always, maybe it's not as big as we think worldwide and all this other stuff. He says, man, this guy had to die for us to realize how big it was. Yeah. It's amazing, right? The level of impact you're making in the world. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, it's been almost now 2 months, September, month and a half is where it's been. But this is our modern day Charlie Kirk, modern day MLK. And the only difference between him and MLK is the following. There's only 40 to 100 hours of recorded footage of Martin Luther King. You can't study him more than 40 to 100 hours. That's all we got. There's 4,700 hours of Charlie that's recorded, and that's on a low number. This guy's going to be studied and documented and written about and all this stuff for many, many decades to come.
Yeah. How did it feel for you as a father to get that phone call from your son and see him in that condition?
Depth. You know, when you cry because of something like that, it means there's a lot of depth in the individual. And you want to see that with your kids. Yeah. Because you want to see that. Think about the last time you cried for 30 minutes. You have. I have. You have. When was the longest you ever cried? What was that event? Loss of a father, mother, best friend?
Something devastating.
Devastating. Divorce, death of a best friend. It's something, you know. So when I watch you, I'm like, you know what, man? I feel very bad that you're going through this, but buddy, there is depth in your soul, and I'm proud of you. It was a different kind of an internal moment, because when he's going through, I'm just looking at him. I'm looking at him like this, like, so I've never seen him like this before. I mean, this guy and his brother fight, and I've seen him get into fights, and he's been pushed around and all this stuff. You know, even if you hit him, he's like, doesn't hurt, he's like, he's that guy.
Yeah.
For you to go down, and I'm just looking at him like, I'm confused. I'm like, wow. So it was reassuring that the right values got him emotional. It's very important, because if you get, it's not like him and Charlie Kirk were best friends, you know. He met Charlie a couple times because I would take him to Turning Point USA. So when we would do the show with Charlie, he would see us, and there's a crowd of 1,000 people. So everybody would point at Tico, and he had a chance to talk to Charlie and all this other stuff. But depth is what it would be.
Yeah, it's not your favorite cartoon show getting canceled.
No, this is a real thing. Yeah, this is a real thing. But, you know, it is what it is. I call 2025 the year of surprises. Every year I give a new name for the year, and I call 2025 the year of surprise. Everybody said, you sure you want to? I said, I'm telling you, I have a very weird feeling about 2025. I've been given every year a name for almost the last 10 years. I said 25 is going to be a year of surprises. It's going to be a very weird year. Some good, some bad, some ugly. So, you know, that was an ugly one.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
We've had very controversial guests on our show. Recently, a gentleman that we've platformed a ton of times, Charleston White, him and I had a falling out. based on all the things he was saying and everything, I actually pulled his interviews off my channel because I didn't want them on there anymore. He said some very distasteful things about Charlie Kirk, which in turn he started to make jokes about Caucasian people. You sat down with him in an interview. I'm not sure if you're aware of the remarks that he made about Charlie
Absolutely,
Kirk.
yes.
How did that make you feel?
So to me, anybody I sit with, I try to size them up, probably just like you. I grew up in the streets. I'm a 1.8 GPA guy. So it's not like I grew up, my dad doesn't have a degree. He was a cashier at a 99-cent store in Englewood. So you have to be like, ready for anything to go down. So I'm always sizing guests up. And when I sized him up, there was different Charleston Whites. There is the true Charleston White that I remember when I pushed him and he emotionally got angry is when I asked him and I said, so all this is because of your dad? Nah, why would I be hurt that my dad wasn't there? He wasn't there. I said, but maybe that's why you're acting. No, it's not. He doesn't have that kind of influence over me. Why would he have that? I said, so that's Charleston White, the person, right? And then when I show pictures of Angel Reese and WNBA, and then that's the entertainer Charleston White, right? And then when I go to this, so there's 5 of you out there. Okay, I just need to know who I'm talking to. And then when he started going into trolling Jesus, I'm like, no, listen, it's like that's you crossing a line out. This is like, don't touch this topic, trolling. You're disrespecting me. And he kind of backed down a little bit. And he had a smile on his face, which means he was trying to get under my skin, which is fine. There's a difference between a co-host doing it versus a guest doing it. Guest is a little bit more free because it's the guest. Yeah. You invited him. So if you know what he's all about, why'd you invite him in the first place? That's the mindset that I have, right? So, But I saw what he said about Charlie. Distasteful, but I think that's him trying to find relevancy and going viral and being a troll and all that other stuff. I mean, it's just not a way I or you would ever do it. But he used to go viral for talking about how he would sue all the jobs that he had in all the companies, how he made money off the jobs he had.
Yeah.
I would watch these videos. I'm like, what do you do? I go in there, I document everything, I put in an email, I leave, I quit, and when I document it, I sue them, I got $200,000. From this other company, I got $60,000. From that company, I've never had a job that I didn't sue the company, I didn't get money. I mean, you have to know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So if you're deciding to wrestle with somebody like that, don't be surprised when they, say sometimes what they say.
Yeah.
Well put.